Honorable Speaker, the situation is so dire that businesses have been closing as early as 6 p.m., with those located in the outskirts where the incidences have been rampant being the most affected. It is in the primary responsibility of national government, all relevant local authorities and security agencies to join hands and work out a coherent strategy against this menace to restore peace and ensure a secure environment for the residents of Garissa County. Honorable Speaker, given the rising insecurity, which is adversely affecting the safety and well-being of residents, I wish to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration, Internal Security, to apprise the House on the following: the specific measures in the ministry is implementing to address this alarming trend, and the measures the government is implementing to ensure effective collaboration between national authorities, county government, and security agencies to enhance community policing, intelligence gathering, and response mechanisms to restore peace and stability in the region. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the issue is very serious, with the same gangs coming to my own house in Garissa County. So I'm really concerned by this issue. Thank you.
Tongoyo, that's your docket. The member for Garissa wanted to say something on the same. We rarely allow this, but since you requested, I give you 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand and rise to add my voice on what the honorable member has raised, and to say that the situation is very bad, Mr. Speaker. And we have raised these issues, tried to solve it through the security agencies, and we are unable to get support. You might know that the delicate situation on the ground in terms of the fact that that region itself was already insecure in terms of infiltration of Al-Shabaab insurgents who are also bringing in firearms into the town. Mr. Speaker, this issue since 2023 we've been addressing with the security agencies on the same issue. Young people carrying daggers, swords in the middle of the town and on broad daylight and robbing people and stabbing young people. A number of people have been killed or stabbed by these sword-carrying gangs. And unfortunately, they are known to the security agencies, but no action is being taken. We want the chair of the committee to take it very seriously and engage the national security team. We need an overhaul of our security group leaders at the county level and the constituency level. The incidences are mainly concentrated within Garissa Township constituency. Thank you, Mr.
Tongoyo, Speaker. When can you bring the statement?
Honorable Speaker, I'll ask to bring it next week.
Next week.
But having said this, Honorable Speaker, I think it's just good to appreciate that the issue being raised by the members is a concern issue, is a major concern. And I remember some time back, somewhere last month, there was even an attempt actually to have the team meet with the minister and able to discuss, considering majority of these security issues are so sensitive, at times actually to be even discussed in the open. So bring next week, but I will still probably ask you.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, together with many others.
Yes, Wednesday afternoon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kawanjiku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Request for a statement on the irregular and illegal grant of tax exemption of a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 42C, I seek to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Registration relating to claims that the Blue Nile Rolling Mills Limited, a company in the steel production industry.
Slightly away from the mic so that we don't have the echo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Not too far, not too close.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I seek to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Registration relating to claims that the Brunei Loading Mills Limited, a company in the steel production industry and which operates under Special Operating Framework Agreement, so far, was illegally granted tax exemption. Honorable Speaker, to lay a basis on this, the Blue Nile rolling mills entered into a special operating framework with government in the year 2020 and was subsequently granted various tax exemptions. Article 5 of the agreement provides that the company is exempted from income corporate tax of up to 10% for the first 5 years, value-added tax, import duty, import declaration fee, IDF, and the Railway Development Levy, RDL, in respect of all raw materials imported by the company. This has led to loss of public funds in unpaid taxes, creating an economic advantage for the company, resorted the local markets, and threatened the sustainability of the local industry dealing with steel production. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, the law provides that the tax exemption under special operating framework agreement can only be granted to companies incorporated for purposes of undertaking the manufacture of human vaccine and whose capital investments is at least 10 billion shillings. The company is neither a human vaccine manufacturer nor a company whose investment is at least 10 billion shillings. Honorable Speaker, consequently, due to illegal grant of tax exemption, the company is operating at a very minimal cost and all other manufacturers are unable to compete with cheap products produced by the company. As a result, there has been outcry in the steel production industry by manufacturers who risk closing business should the unfair competitive advantage in form of tax exemptions conferred to the company continue being in place. Further, the cost of production vis-a-vis the price of products by the company is extremely low compared to all other companies, which goes against the competition law. It is alleged that the government is losing nearly Kenya shillings 30 billion annually on unpaid taxes. Nothing comes at a time when the government is grappling with the handoff of reduction of tax correction. It is paramount that the allegations made by the industry players are investigated. It is also worth noting that the tax exemption have been granted to the company through various legal notices in exercise of delegated authority. Honorable Speaker, it is on this basis that I seek for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Registration and further request that the committee does inquire into matters raised and make the relevant recommendation thereof. In conducting the inquiry, the committee may investigate and determine, number one, the circumstances under which the tax exemption on income corporate tax, value-added tax, imports duty, IDF, and LDL were granted to Blue Nile Rolling Mills Limited. Number two, the total value of tax exemption that have been granted to Blue Nile Rolling Mills Limited so far, and the estimated value of the exemption that will have been granted to the company on the expiry of the agreement. Number three, the content of the agreement between the company and government, the period for which the company shall enjoy the tax exemption under the agreement, and the implication thereof in terms of loss of public funds. Number four, whether the requirement of the law in granting tax exemption under SOFA to the company were complied with, and indicates the person that were responsible for approving the tax exemption granted to the company. And number five, the number of employees employed by the company and the status of compliance with ensuring tax obligation by the company. Number six, the number of companies dealing with the manufacturer of galvanizing wire, steel production that are currently enjoying tax exemption and the value of the investments of the company. Number seven, the status of other existing special operating framework agreement and their impact on the economy. Number eight, and any other matter that the committee may deem appropriate. Honorable Speaker, I also understand that the industry players and other organizations have written to you requesting for the same, and therefore that's why probably, Mr. Speaker, we are asking for this statement so that we can make sure that the companies that are given exemptions, they are the companies that will also benefit, they will not have a monopoly of benefit as far as the other companies are also concerned, Madam Mr. Speaker. I submit.
Chair. Wapi Chepkonga?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker,
Yes.
I have just heard what Honorable Kawanjiko, the member of the indomitable member for Kiamba. He has raised very fundamental issues.
As a matter of fact, the office of the Speaker has received several letters also to this effect.
That even makes it very serious, Mr. Speaker. that even the speaker has received additional information. So, and these
I've
are the
received
sort of,
complaints, not additional information.
yeah, thank you very
When
much.
can you?
Thank you. Since they are very serious matters, Mr. Speaker, and these are the issues we've been complaining about as a committee, that people issue orders that have an effect of law, and they don't bring them to the House. Yes. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I will request that you give us 2 weeks, and we'll bring a report here.
Okay, you have 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Robert Mbui, before we go to Robert Mbui, Esther Passaris.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 43, I wish to make a statement regarding the commemoration of the Pan-African Women's Day 2024. Honorable Speaker, today, 31st July 2024, the African continent is observing the Pan-African Women's Day 2024 under the theme Gender, Environment and Justice. The Pan-African Women's Day, held under the African Women's Call for Peace initiative, kicks off a campaign in favor of peace while celebrating the role of women in fostering peace and sustainable development across the African societies. The initiative, aligned with the global aspirations of the Sustainable Development Goals, the African Union's Agenda 2063, the United Nations Resolution 1325, seeks to harness the immense potential of African women to create a more just, equitable, and sustainable Africa. Honorable Speaker, to achieve its objectives, the African Women's Call for Peace initiative seeks to empower women through capacity building, awareness raising, and platform creation. By doing so, it aims to cultivate a powerful movement of women leaders driving peace and sustainable development across Africa. The initiative supports this vision by establishing a strong organizational structure, nurturing young women, fostering peace, adapting to local contexts, and building collaborative partnerships. This year's Pan-African Women's Day, under the theme Gender, Environment and Justice, will celebrate the efforts and contributions of women in environmental justice. Honorable Speaker, to commemorate the Pan-African Women's Day 2024 today, African women are launching a symbolic campaign to demonstrate their commitment to peace, the White Scarf Initiative. By wearing a white scarf and sharing a message of peace on social media, they will create a visible and powerful expression of unity. This campaign will culminate in the publication of a manifesto outlining women's priorities for peace and development. Honorable Speaker, as I invite the House to be part of the commemoration of the Pan-African Women's Day 2024, I urge us to remember that the journey to peace and sustainable development is a collective one, calling for participation of both men and women. By uplifting the voices and efforts of women, we not only honor their contributions, but also pave the way for a more peaceful, sustainable, and equitable future for all, thereby creating a legacy of hope and prosperity for generations to come. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I've been requested by Sabina Chege to make a comment on that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to support the statement from Honorable Passaris for African Women for Peace. As we commemorate this day, Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the role the women play in each society in peacekeeping. Mr. Speaker, when there's no peace in any country, women and children are mostly affected. And so I stand today to be counted as one of the women leaders who support peace. I want to congratulate His Excellency the President for finding it in his heart to have a broad-based government so that we can incorporate everyone in running of this country, in sharing ideas, in governing this country. And I also want to thank really Mr. President for embracing each and everyone and showing peace. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, we say that let us all unite together. Let's leave no one behind in leadership, in our homes, and even in this house, Mr. Speaker. If we work together as a team, we'll have more peaceful country. We are role models. People look at us out there. So if we remain peaceful from this house, Mr. Speaker, and even in the executive, within the leadership, I am sure peace will prevail in this country. And that's why I say even in Kenya, may peace, love, and unity prevail. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Responses to statements. Statement by Robert Mbui. Tongoyo, are you ready? Robert Mbui himself is not here.
So maybe I need your indulgence, Honorable Speaker, considering that this is a matter of much interest, whether issue or we do it when the member is in the House.
Bring the statement next week on Wednesday.
Okay. Well guided.
Statement requested by Abdi Ali, member for Ijara. Chair Energy. You are ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready, Honorable Speaker.
Go ahead. Is the member for Ijara here?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kawaya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the member for Injara sought for a statement, as well as the member for the nominated member, Honorable Aaron Mker, and the request for statement was similar, so the two requests were merged together. So I have one response to the two members. Honorable Speaker, following the letter dated 8th May 2024, referenced NA/DDC/Energy/COR/2024/019, the National Assembly requested the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum to make submissions on the following statements from Honorable Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Statements by a member of Parliament for Injara constituency, Honorable Abdi Ali, Abdi MP, and the nominated member, Honorable Omker, regarding power outages in Masalani Injara wards in Injara constituency. The following are submissions on the statements as requested. 1, measures that the government has put in place to ensure the residents of Masalani and Ijara wards have access to reliable electricity. Mr. Speaker, currently, Masalani and Ijara wards in Ijara constituency are connected to the grid and supplied by a 33 kV Masalani feeder from Garissa 220/33 kV substation. The line done on concrete poles has a length of approximately 190 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, Garissa 220/33 kV substation has been off supply since April 2024, when the power supply transmission towers were swept away by floods at the river Sabaki. This necessitated power to be supplied via the 33 kV line from Kakuyuni 220/33 kV substation, which is just before Malindi. This resulted into low voltages in Lamu and Tana River counties due to the longer distances and higher loads on the line. Mr. Speaker, this was solved by installation of an automatic voltage regulator AVR at the Garissa substation. Mr. Speaker, the 33 kV Masalani line crosses River Tana between Boji and Majengo villages. The area is prone to massive flooding during rain season. This makes the road linking Masalani and Jara impassable, and the 4-kilometer section of the power line submerged in water.
Honorable DK, you are out of order.
Mr. Speaker, in May 2024, the flooding exceeded the normal levels. The poles were submerged with one pole slanting at an angle of 60 degrees. This caused a snap of one conductor and consequently the line tripped, affecting both Masalani and Ijara. Using a boat, the Kenya Power team at Hola were able to secure 2 conductors. The third conductor could not be secured due to the personnel safety reasons. The supply was thus restored to single phase, customers only, until the waters subsided. On 12 June 2024, the water levels had subsided and the third conductor was secured, hence normalizing supply in the affected area. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, government plans to compensate affected businesses in Masalani and Jara wards following massive losses of produce incurred especially by vendors who sell perishable commodities. Mr. Speaker, the cause of power loss in these areas was force majeure, hence beyond government and KPLC's management control. Due to the unforeseen situation, the service provider acted to its best ability to alleviate the losses that otherwise would have been incurred had the single phase not been restored. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, plans the government is putting in place to provide stable and reliable power connectivity in Masalani and Ijara wards, given that the current and reliable connectivity is from Hola, Tana River County. Mr. Speaker, as already indicated in one above, the power to the affected areas was restored completely on 12 June 2024 after the water levels had subsided. Therefore, power supply to the 2 areas has been normalized. Mr. Speaker, further, the government through Ketraco is constructing a transmission line to Hola. That is the Garsen-Hola transmission line, which is a 20 kV line, which will drastically shorten the line lengths, supplying Injara constituency, hence increasing supply reliability. Mr. Speaker, that is a statement as signed by the CS, former CS Energy, Davis Churchill. If you allow me, Mr. Speaker, the next statement.
I can't. Let's have a response from the MP who sought the statement first. Member for Ijara, you've listened to the Honorable Chairman. You are satisfied?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity you have given me. I have heard what the Chair of Energy has said, and on behalf of Ijara constituency, I'm not satisfied on the response that the Chair has given and the ministry, on behalf of the ministry. As you know that when we complained, before even we complained and put the question, it was 3 months that Ijara constituency had issues of power outages in Masalani town, which means has nothing to do with floods. We need a permanent solution. Masalani is among the oldest town we have in Kenya, and it is densely populated. Unfortunately, we don't have even a small power station in Masalani. So for the excuse that the ministry is giving in terms of floods has nothing to do. It's always in and out, and we need a permanent solution. For the purpose of force majeure, what he said about the force majeure has nothing to do with this situation. So I request further permanent solution of power in Masalani constitution, in Masalani town, Ijara constituency. Thank you. Permanent solution.
Kawaya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The last part of my statement read that the construction of by Ketraco of the Garsen-Hola line is going to stabilize the connection. But I would request the member, we can have a sit-in with the ministry, and the member appears before the committee so that they can be able to ask several supplementary questions, because at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, the ministry should be able to respond to the questions directly.
Yes, Umuher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also asked the same statement, and the response is not sufficient because my statement was not just for Ijara, but the entire Garissa, because electricity affected both Ijara and Township area and other areas. The response says that compensation will be given to farmers, but we've tried to follow up and there's nothing that has been done. We can't have this response limited to just the electricity issues, but also the farmers whose produce have been affected. So I'm interested to know what the ministry is doing, because the irrigation, the chairman for the blue economy said that it's under his committee, but it's not, it's under energy. And as per the response, they've highlighted that they're working to compensate the farmers, but nothing has been done. This happened in October and February this year. So if there are floods again, it's still meant to, it will still go affect the farmers again. So please, let's find a solution to the farmers who have also been affected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to agree that this response did not focus on Garissa County, but specifically on Ijara constituency.
But when you started, you said you are responding to both statements.
Yes, yes,
by the two members.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. The assumption was that since the member from Garissa County did not mention specifically the areas that were affected by floods, then this was taken to mean that Ijara constituency, which lies under Garissa County, there was no specific other constituency that the member had requested. But I wanted to respond on a specific issue that the member has raised, which is the issue of compensation. The law as it is now allows compensation by Kenya Power. If the circumstances do not fall under force majeure, the question would be then, as the ministry has put it, they attribute these floods, these outages to floods. And then the reason why they quote force majeure, that's why I think it is going to be necessary for the members to appear before the committee, where we can ask the minister to appear before us, and then they can be able to exchange before the committee, Mr. Speaker.
You should not hide under force majeure. Force majeure in law is a contestable defense.
It is not me, but the ministry.
You are their representative here.
As Mr. Speaker, this statement reads down
from the ministry. Satisfy yourself that it is conveying an answer worth bringing to this house. Yeah. You can call the ministry and interrogate the officials who have given you the statement. Correct. So that when you bring here, you have self-satisfaction as the chair, and you are conveying a statement of truth to the House. So in future, let's do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next is a statement requested by Captain Roida Obo. Again to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I stand well guided. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member for Lamu East sought a statement. Sought a statement regarding outages in Kiunga village in Lamu East constituency. And this is a response, Mr. Speaker. Following the letter dated 11th June 2024, referenced NA/DDC/Energy/COR/2024-035, the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Energy requested the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum to make submissions on the following statements by the member. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I'm handling many things at a go. by the member for Lamu East, Honorable Rueda Obo. The following are the submissions on the statements as requested. 1, status of repairing faulty power generators in the country and specifically Kiunga village. Mr. Speaker, currently KPLC operates and maintains around 30 off-grid diesel power stations spread all over the country, with 2 stations in Lamu County situated at Faza and Kiunga towns. Currently, all the generators at Faza, which were installed in 2021, are in good working condition. And the following are the generators. 1 of the generators is Perkins 2500, installed in 2021, which is okay and working. 2, it is the Perkins 2806, installed in 2021, which is also in good working condition. And 3, it's Perkins 25, which was had maintenance in 2024 April, and it's working. There is no load shedding at Pate Island, which is being served by Faza Power Station. B, Mr. Speaker, the station at Kiunga town was constructed by REREC and handed over to KPLC for operation and maintenance since the year 2016. The station has 2 generators comprising of 1X 80 kVA and 1X 150 kVA sets. The maximum demand at Kiunga is about 80 kilowatts. The 80 kVA unit failed on 12th April 2024 and was repaired on 19th April 2024. It failed again on 22nd April 2024, and a team from Lamu and Faza was sent on 29th April 2024 to assist the local team. Mr. Speaker, the repair works commenced again on 1st to 5th May 2024, but it was unsuccessful. The faulty parts were however identified and are undergoing repairs in our Nairobi or in Kenya Power's Nairobi workshop. The 2 generators are Perkins generator, 80 kVA, and status is faulty alternator, and the repair of alternator completed in Nairobi undergoing tests. The second one is Perkins generator 150 kVA, which has a damaged engine, replacement engine under repair in Nairobi. However, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum has been able to source and build 1 Cummins 150 kVA in Nairobi South workshop, and necessary tests have been undertaken, and the unit is in transit together with the repaired alternator for unit number 1. In addition, Mr. Speaker, a new 300 kVA generator set for Kiunga has been procured and is expected to be installed by the supplier. The delivery of the repaired generator to Kiunga by road has been hampered due to ongoing rains, with the road at Gamba, Tana River County area being cut off, rendering it impassable. The situation has also been compounded by the insecurity in Boni Forest, where the main road to Kiunga passes. We are therefore pursuing urgently a delivery mode that will be fast and secure for delivery of generator sets, soonest, and alleviate power supply problem at Kiunga Island by sea or ocean. The Minister of Energy and Petroleum, Mr. Speaker, has sought assistance from the Minister of Defense via the Kenya Navy in providing necessary logistical support to enable delivery of power generator sets to Kiunga Power Station. 2, Mr. Speaker, provide a report on measures put in place by Kenya Power Lighting PLC to restore electricity in Kiunga village and ensure stable power supply. Mr. Speaker, the Kenya Power and Lighting Company has put in place measures to restore power in Kiunga village, as already highlighted, by repairing the faulty generators. Further, Mr. Speaker, the ministry through KPLC as plans to upgrade generation capacity at Kiunga and ensure some spare for redundancy in case of generator failure in future. This plan is at advanced stage and already procurement and award of the contractor to supply and install and commission additional 300 kVA generator done on 29th January 2024. The additional generator is expected to be installed by June 30th, 2024. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Signed by the former CS Churchill.
Thank you. Rueda.
Bwana Spika, mimi sijaridhika. Badala mwenyekiti kutumia aya nyingi, sentensi nyingi, paragrafu nyingi, makurasa kwa makurasa, mimi nilikuwa nataka kujua hapa uniambie kwa sentensi moja kwamba stima Kiunga inarudi lini. Leo ni siku 109, miezi mitatu na zaidi Kiunga hakuna stima na shida generator imeharibika. Kwani hii Kenya Power ni maskini sana, hawawezi kukomboa meli kutoka Mombasa kupeleka generator. Unaniambia mimi generator iko hapo Mokoe na haijafika. Watu wenye kisukari wanapata shida, hakuna insulin. Nataka uniambie siku gani stima zitawaka Kiunga, na kama haziwaki katika siku, mimi nakupatia wiki 2. Kama haziwaki nitaenda kulala katika hiyo station mpaka siku ile mtawasha stima. Asante.
Kawaya, unasikia hiyo hasira?
Oh my goodness, hasira Sarah. So, Mr. Speaker,
she is representing her people.
yes, it is true. And
Yes.
I feel her pain, Mr. Speaker. The ministry had undertaken that the commissioning works for the new generator would be complete by 30th June 2024. Obviously, that has not come to be. That is already a month late.
Did you say the generator is lying in Mombasa? The transformer or transformer?
It is a generator. This is an off-grid. This area is not under the national grid. It is served by off-grid generator, diesel generators.
And the generator is in Mombasa? You
Yes.
said? What is it doing in Mombasa?
Mr. Speaker, there is logistical issues of supply and installation. The contractor it is not in our hands. The contractor has been procured, as read in this statement, to install and commission a 300 kV generator. It appears that work is not yet complete. The undertaking was that the work will be complete.
Yes, Rueda, what's your point of order?
Bwana Spika, generator iko Mokoe, kuna generator 2. Kenya Power nimefuatilizia kwa karibu, ofisi zao nimeenda zote. Generator moja ya Kenya Power ndogo iko Mokoe na generator ingine ya contractor iko Mokoe. Shida yao wanatafuta watu ati KDF wabebe au wengine wanabebe. Nyinyi hamuna pesa kweni za kubeba huko, si ile ni biashara, si watu watalipa.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you understand when a contractor has been...
Yes, Elisha?
Is a generator.
Hold on, Kawaya. Yes, Elisha? Give him
Mr. Speaker, my chairman was very candid that there's consultation with the Navy to be able to transport that generator into the island. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Order, Kawaya. This is a very simple matter. Liaise with Kenya Power, right?
Yes, Mr.
And
Speaker.
report back on Thursday next week that the generator has been transported to Kiunga and installed. You heard the member say that patients are suffering
Yes.
because there's no electricity to freeze the medicines required for certain ailments. Liaise with the agency, report back on Thursday that the generator has been transported and has been installed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
I'm well guided.
Next, Joyce Kamene. Is she here? Yes, Joyce. Chair Transport. Is the Chair Transport here? GK. Chair Transport.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Respond to the statement by Honorable Joyce Kamene. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready, Honorable Speaker. I have two statements. Yes. Honorable Speaker, I rise to respond to the statement requested by Honorable Kamene regarding the deplorable condition of Murorongo Kware Katani Road. Honorable Speaker, on Thursday, 24 May 7th, member for Machakos County, Honorable Joyce Kamene, MP, requested for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the deplorable condition of Murorongo Kware Katani Road in Machakos County. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, the Honorable member requested the committee to provide a report on the approved design for Murorongo Kware Katani Road, including the road profiles, drainage, and lighting, and whether the design adhere to the principle of durability and sustainability for road serving heavy trucks. B, clarification on whether construction of the named road conform to the approved design, outline the content of the inspection report for the road, and confirm whether a completion certificate was issued, and if so, a further explanation on why the road failed within 5 years of construction. C, the plans the ministry, through Kura, has in place to urgently reconstruct the dilapidated Murorongo Kware Katani Tarmac, Mwananchi Syokimau Community Road, and Josca Sunshine Mwadhani Road, and repair Syokimau Katani Link Road. D, a statement on the timelines for construction or maintenance of the named roads needed to restore them to a motorable state. Honorable Speaker, the committee received a response from the Ministry of Roads and Transport during a meeting held on 4 June 2024, which I now wish to make. One, the ministry stated that the Murorongo Kware Katani Road was designed in compliance with the applicable road design manuals and was subsequently constructed in compliance with the procedures and standards specified in the standard specification for road and bridge construction. The road pavement structure for the road was selected from the Road Design Manual Part 3, that is materials and pavement design for new roads. After the number and type of various categories of traffic were counted, analyzed, and future growth was projected. The traffic study indicated relatively high traffic and the commensurate high strength pavement selected as follows. 1, subgrade 300 mm gravel. 2, subbase 225 mm of cement improved graded crushed stones, that is GCS. 3, base 150 of dense bitumen macadam, that is DBM. And 4, wearing course 55 mm of asphalt concrete, that's AC. 2, the pavement design was adequate to carry the heavy loaded trucks through the design period. The geometric design also made a provision for drains with the side labs on both sides of the road. Street lights were installed and handed over to the county government of Machakos upon completion of the road for maintenance and operation. Honorable Speaker, number 3, regarding whether the construction of the road adhered to the approved design, the ministry confirmed that the Kenya Urban Rural Roads provided appropriate site supervision and oversight, which included regular testing of construction materials and other quality control measures. The project was completed on 31st July 2019, and a completion certificate was issued to the contractor. The ministry, however, noted that while carrying out its annual road inventory and condition surveys in the subsequent years, an exercise which is part of the process of preparing appropriate annual maintenance interventions, Kura noted instances of emerging pavement distress on the Mlolongo-Kware-Katani road and identified the contributing factors and challenges as follows. 1, poor planning in the project area leads to overloaded trucks being redirected to the Mlolongo-Kware-Katani road, causing strain on the road and causing unnecessary congestion in the Katani and Sokimau areas. The flat terrain and predominantly black cotton soil in the project area hinders stormwater drainage, leading to obstruction of natural waterways and water stagnation, affecting road pavement layers and podding. 3, overloading on the Mlolongo-Kware-Katani road is prevalent due to the absence of weighbridge, causing pavement damage and inconsistent enforcement of loading limits. 4, overfilling of trucks from quarries and waste lorries causes excess material to spill onto roads and drains, contributing to poor drainage in the area, as well as causing informal roadside depots to be overfilled. 4, neighboring companies illegally discharge grey water industrial waste onto road surfaces and drainage systems, leading to the overtopping, blockages, and pavement deterioration during rains. Honorable Speaker, the ministries submitted there are immediate plans to prioritize repairs to the damaged sections of the mentioned road, focusing on critical areas affected by overloading. This would include cleaning of the drainage channels. Regarding the timelines for reconstruction of or maintaining the mentioned roads to restore them to motorable state, the ministry stated it will carry out immediate repairs within 6 months. Additionally, it plans to place these roads under a performance-based contract to ensure consistent maintenance and address any emerging issues immediately within a time frame of 6 months to 1 year. Additionally, the ministry has given an assurance that it is committed to addressing the challenges faced on the said roads and the other roads around Katani. However, coordinated and strict enforcement of the prevailing regulations on environmental management, enhanced enforcement on Legal Notice number 51 of 2013, that is on axle road control regulations, as well as enhanced community cooperation are necessary for achieving the objective of preventing damage arising from misuse and keeping the road in a well-maintained state. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the ministry intends to improve critical roads in Mavoko, as well as in other areas as and when funds are available, noting that the ministry faces substantial pending bills for completed road works, which need to be addressed before commencing new projects. The committee notes the role of the road sector as key enabler in the economic development and therefore undertakes to follow up on this matter as part of its oversight role to ensure that these roads and other roads all over the country are maintained. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Mene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you've had the chair answer he has not given any solution. It is simple. Has the work started for repairing this road, and especially the Mlolongo Quarry Road, because it is still unpassable. The state is miserable. Mr. Speaker, sir, I had also asked about the community road in Syokimau, Katani, and this project was supposed to be completed by mid-April, and up to now, it has not been done. Kura continuously keeps giving answers of delay, and no work is going on. We also have serious challenges in the airport road, which is 1.9 kilometers. We also have the Mwananchi road of 1 kilometer and the Chai road of 600 meters. Mr. Speaker, these three projects have been funded through the Fuel Levy Fund and managed by Kura Machakos office. We have serious challenges in the quality of work as it is. We have also addressed this to the Kura engineers. The contractor who is doing Airport Road Phase 2 is the same person who did the Phase 1, and which was poorly done. Mr. Speaker, my question is this. If the same contractor did the first phase, and within 5 months that road had potholes, how was he given Phase 2 to undertake the same contractor? We need answers. Roads in Syokimau are impassable. Whenever you give a contractor, it is shady work that is done.
Honorable
and we need
Kamene,
answers.
you are now debating instead of asking for clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I gave you an opportunity to seek a further clarification on the statement.
Mr. Speaker, can the chair give us clarity on these roads, because there's nothing that is going on right now?
Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to remind the Honorable Member that the challenge the ministry is facing is inadequate funding. Last financial year, and the allocation to this agency, that's roads, was 56 billion. And out of this 56 billion, only 34 was availed through Exchequer. So this challenge, some of these challenges are beyond the agencies. Two, Honorable Speaker, I believe the roads in the member's constituency are some of the roads we were trying to fund through the aborted finance bill. So if we had gotten that money that we had allocated for this road, would have been able to help you. But I think we'll have to live with the situation the way it is and hope that the government somehow will get money to fund the roads that are stored. And even the projects such as our roads that need to be rehabilitated. The issue here is about funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Next statement, again to you, GK. Yes, Kamene.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not talking about the ones that we are waiting to fund. My questions was on the roads that have been done, and they were done poorly. Airport Road, and this Syokimau Quarry Road, which he even stated that was done and was completed in 2019. And right now, it is impassable, and in January, that road was also impassable. The quality of work, does it make sense that roads are done?
Let her finish.
Does it make sense that a road has been done, and in 2 years, it's impassable?
We've heard you. Yes, Daud, what is your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member who is asked this question, she was invited to the committee. When the answers were being given, she could have even come to the committee and questioned the agencies which were there. It would have been much easier instead of just asking questions which the chair will not be able to answer here. So, Mr. Speaker, she should have made a point to come to the committee.
Were she elected to come to plenary? GK?
Honorable Speaker, should I move to the next one or still
Yes.
dwell on this?
Munyoro is in the house.
He is not.
Honorable Munyoro? If he's not in the house, table the answer, he'll read it from the table
I'm
office.
told the Honorable Kehongi is sitting in for him.
Kehungi, you have a power of attorney on the question. Go on, GK.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on Thursday, 7th May 2024, the member for Kigumo, the Honorable Joseph Munyoro MP, requested for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the status of Mau Mau roads in Kegumo constituency. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, the honorable member sought to, among other things, establish A, the reason for prolonged delay in completing the Mau Mau roads in Kegumo constituency, and B, the plans the Ministry of Roads and Transport has put in place for the resumption and completion of Mau Mau roads construction, and C, the mitigation measures the ministry is undertaking to ensure that the roads within Kegumo constituency remain passable during the rainy season. D, when the contractor is expected to resume construction of the Ikombe Karinga Gasharage Road. And E, the long-term measures the ministry is taking to ensure the safety of residents during the rainy seasons. Honorable Speaker, the committee held a meeting with the Ministry of Roads and Transport on 4 June 2024 to receive a response to the statement. Thereafter, the committee requested for additional information, and I therefore wish to respond to the statement as follows. To give a brief background of the matter, the State Department of Roads has a huge budget insufficiency leading to limited allocation for road projects. Implementation of the Road 10,000 program from the year 2013-14 led to a huge portfolio of projects not commensurate with the budget ceiling provided by the National Treasury. And two, the rollout of Roads 10,000 program entered a full-year cycle in the 2017-18 financial year. It was expected that on account of the rollout, the GOK allocation for roads would progress upwards. However, over time, the ceiling allocation for roads has stagnated to an average of Kenya shillings 55 billion per year from the year 2017-18 to date. Honorable Speaker, this Roads 10,000 program rollout, in addition to the ongoing road contracts prior to the 2013 to 2024, culminated in an outstanding GOK portfolio of Kenya shillings 900 billion as at 31st July 2022. The huge outstanding portfolio in relation to GOK ceiling provided has resulted into minimal allocation to the project. The government has made efforts to reduce this portfolio in an effort to ensure reasonable and material allocation to road projects. As at 30th June 2024, the outstanding GOK portfolio made up of contracted but undone works and amounted to 700 billion. Despite the reduction, the 700 billion portfolio far outstrips Kenya shillings 55 billion ceiling annual budget. For the limited allocation vis-a-vis the outstanding portfolio, project portfolio results in thinly spread allocation for projects. Most of the projects that the current government is implementing were awarded prior to the 2020-2021 financial year. The thin spread of the GOK ceiling available means the road take longer to complete because more expensive and become more expensive due to the passage of time and attracts interest and other claims. Honorable Speaker, the ministry further stated that in the financial year 23-24, the printed net GOK allocation for the State Department of Roads was 75 billion. I think I'll skip that part, Honorable Speaker, in the interest of time. And I'll go to another point regarding the status of Mau Mau Roads implementation in Kegumo constituency. I wish to inform the House that the road is part of Lot 2 of the Mau Mau Roads project, which is currently 52% complete. A total of 2.7 billion has been paid since the project inception, with a pending bill of Kenya shilling 327 million as at April 2024. I'll skip. Regarding the plans that the ministry has put in place for the resumption and completion of Mau Mau roads, the ministry submitted that it is working hand in hand with the National Treasury to avail additional GOK funding for all roads. To seek alternative financing for roads, the National Treasury and Ministry have been engaging development partners to finance the already awarded GOK contracts and therefore release some GOK provisions for projects that will not benefit from the foreign funds. It is expected that the National Treasury will make headway towards this initiative within the second half of the next financial year, of the current financial year, 24-25. As to when the contractor is expected to resume construction of the Ikumbi, Ikangi, Gasharage Road, the ministry submitted that Kenha maintenance contractor maintain all other road sections under the agency in Kegumo constituency. Additionally, the agency utilizes framework contracts to promptly address any emergency works, ensuring affected sections remain passable and safe for motorists. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, about the long-term measures the ministry is taking to ensure the safety of residents during the heavy rains, the ministry reported that the road section is a spur road that is planned to be upgraded to bitumen standards, and the contractor is expected to resume works once the outstanding payments are fully made. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Yes, Kiunga.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to start for Honorable Munyoro. The road passes from Ikombe, Gasharage, then to my constituency, that is Ichiche, Kerure, and Wanjerere. And I want to confirm that the statement that the contractor, because they did hard work in all sections of that road, the issue of maintenance is untrue, because already the contractor has abandoned the site and the works, and also the contractor did earthworks along the whole stretch of the road. Therefore, that area is a T-zone area, whereby we cannot be able to work without those roads. But now they are extremely impassable, especially as we head to the October rains. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that the statement is not satisfying. We need, first of all, even though the budget allocations, he has not indicated how much they have allocated that road on budget allocation, because that was the most important thing. The issue of maintenance, Mr. Speaker, should be taken into consideration, because the amount the government is losing, mostly on tea farmers, and also the supply of tea, the government is losing more than maybe whatever they can input on that road. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the statement is not satisfying because the issue of maintenance cannot be going on because the contractor already has abandoned site. Yeah.
GK, is that factual?
I agree with the member that the road needs to be worked on, but Honorable Speaker, the main issue here is funding. If the resources are not available, Honorable Speaker, the member will not be satisfied, and of course, in the course of time, funds will be availed to complete that road.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 8, the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, second reading, resumption of debate.
Honorable members, I'll give you direction as follows on this. Order Majority Whip. I noticed Timothy Kipchumba was on the floor. We will debate this up to 4:40. Then the mover should be ready to reply. Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, are you listening? You seem to be engaged with your colleagues. I'm giving direction on your bill. We'll debate the remainder of the debate up to 4:40. Then at 4:40, I'll call you to reply. Thereafter, we go to Committee of the Whole on the same bill. So, Timothy, you are the one on the floor. So I would encourage those who are getting an opportunity to take an average of 5 minutes so that others can also speak.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on the Supplementary Appropriation Bill. Honorable Speaker, this bill has come at a moment that we were not able to pass the finance bill as was envisaged, and therefore comes in to accommodate some of the concerns that were raised by the members of the public. Honorable Speaker, as a member of the Committee on Education and Research, we, as a committee, made it sure that the amount that was set aside for the employment or for the confirmation of teachers on internships was set aside so that those teachers should be confirmed on permanent and pensionable terms. Honorable Speaker, that is fundamental because teachers had raised concerns on that particular issue. So I wish to confirm to our teachers that the confirmation of the 46 JSS teachers shall be done as a matter of urgency. Honorable Speaker, we also appreciate we have a backlog of 140,000 teachers who have graduated but have not been employed. Honorable Speaker, this passage of this bill will ensure that those teachers, the 20,000 internships will be employed. Honorable Speaker, that is fundamental because we shall be absorbing those teachers that have graduated but have not been employed. But Honorable Speaker, I have read this bill. This is a good bill, but Honorable Speaker, as a country, following what happened to this country in the recent demonstrations, we, as a House, Honorable Speaker, you realize that we have now what you call a broad-based political government, what you call a mongrel. Honorable Speaker, as a House, we do not have a formidable opposition as we used to have. Honorable Speaker, as a House, we should ensure that we do oversight of these funds. We do not have a formidable opposition. Everybody must speak for what is right in the country. We must do proper oversight. Honorable Speaker, Montesquieu was never wrong when he talked about separation of powers. There is a reason why we have executive, we have judiciary, and we have the legislature. Honorable Speaker, the only way to fight corruption, to fight impunity, to fight bad governance is through a strong parliamentary oversight. Honorable Speaker, as a House, we should ensure that we never pass laws that are not helpful to our people. We should make sure that we do thorough oversight of the executive. We will not allow again, Honorable Speaker, for laws that are brought this House that go against the wishes of the people. Honorable Speaker, what happened on the 25th of June was to the effect that the people felt that the social contract we signed with them was not being exercised in a proper manner. That is why some of them chose that they want to exercise their own power. Honorable Speaker, the reforms that we've had, Honorable Speaker, as a member of Parliament, I appreciate the reforms, and in particular, this afternoon, you have read the name of the nomination of Dorcas Oduor as the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, Oduor is, before nomination, was the Deputy Director of the Office of the Public Prosecutions. Honorable Speaker, Oduor is a distinguished lawyer, is a distinguished advocate who has served this country with honor and distinction. Honorable Speaker, Oduor is a senior counsel. He has attained the rank of a senior counsel. Honorable Speaker, it should never go out of sight that the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya is the chief principal legal advisor of the government. Honorable Speaker, we have, it seems, even the laws come to this house, that we've never had a proper Attorney General to advise the President of this Republic. So I call upon Dorcas Oduor that it is upon you to now properly advise our President, to now properly advise this government, so that we do not have half-baked pieces of legislations coming to this house. She is a distinguished counsel, a distinguished lawyer, and I believe going forward that Dorcas Oduor will be able to properly advise the President, properly advise the CSS, so that we have a country that conforms with the statutes. We have a country that obeys and upholds and defends the rule of law. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Jared Okello.
I thank you very much.
Compress your thoughts to 5 minutes.
Okay, I thank you. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the Supplementary Appropriations Bill number 2 of 2024, stemming from the botched finance bill, which was rejected by the President as a result of all the issues that arose from our Gen Z generation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, whereas there is a consideration of the JSS teachers, Honorable Speaker, but the JSS teachers are those who graduated from universities. But there seems to be lack of attention to the P1 teachers, those who finished high school, plugged themselves into teachers training colleges, and you have those who actually graduated day back from the year 2010 and haven't been absorbed by the Teacher Service Commission to date. So, whereas 56,000 teachers would be considered under the JSS category, how I wish that certain portions of funds would have been directed towards the way of the P1 teachers as well, Honorable Speaker. I sit in the Agriculture Committee, and there has been drastic cuts on the budget at a time when we were paying much credence to having food sufficiency within our country, Honorable Speaker. Agriculture has been the backbone of our economy for way too long, and we needed to boost its capacity as a job creation and as a food security element within the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, people who are hungry cannot do anything worth talking about. And therefore, if we could have put more attention to agriculture, that would have really assisted this country, Honorable Speaker. Our number 2 revenue earner has been tourism. There seems to be very little money going towards marketing the tourism sector and the attendant services offered by the tourism industry, Honorable Speaker. These are areas where we really needed to put more attention on so that this country can have a renewed rapid flight on matters economic endowment. Honorable Speaker, health sector has become a challenge ever since. Whereas health is a devolved function, the counties seem not to be doing a lot to offer medical services to our people. You go into any health center, any hospital, one fundamental thing you will be confronted with is lack of medicine and lack of equipment to address issues of healthcare. So this is an area where the government needs to put a lot more money because we have indigents within our society, those who have no capacity to pay for medical attention. So together with the roads that have dilapidated all across our country, and the issues were actually made worse by the flooding that we experienced a few months ago, the road sector has not received a fair share of the budget, and even the little that has been directed that way is only targeting a few areas within this country. So under the spirit of equity, the country needs to consider all the roads because people move from all corners of our nation, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I support this supplementary number 2, and I hope the supplementary number 3, which will be coming up in about 3-4 months, will also try to fix certain imperfections that we are going to receive out of this budget, Honorable Speaker. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Gishemo Gedenji. Gishemo Gedenji. Paul Biego.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And on the onset, I rise to support or to congratulate my very good friend, the chair of budget and his team, that despite the fact that I was somebody who felt very bad when the finance bill did not go through because I knew the advantages, but nevertheless, at least his committee has managed to retain some of the very fundamental and important things that I felt that was important for Kenyans. And one of them, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the retention of the GSS interns. The 20,000 interns who are to be put onto interns, and the current 26,000 interns who are going to be put to permanent and pensionable, worth 18 billion. I felt that that is a score to the teachers. Of course, the university funding, which also got whopping 17 billion, is something that I'm feeling good about because without education, and especially higher education, then we will be doomed. Mr. Speaker, sir, this committee also saved our children by at least giving them 3 billion on the issue of feeding program, and I feel that that was good. And of course, Mr. Speaker, on the issues of health, the provision of intern doctors have been complaining all through, and I'm very happy that they have been considered, and there has been 3.7 billion which has been set aside for the intern doctors. And of course, the acquisition of specialized medical equipment, I'm also very, very happy that health is key and health is important. And with the 2 billion that at least has been set aside for the acquisition of specialized medical equipment would go a long way in helping the people who are sick. And as much as how we may not have gained the issue of the universal health coverage, but at least to accelerate the health care, at least there is some money that had been set aside, I think around about 8 billion, which I'm happy that we are able to get for UHC. And the police force, Mr. Speaker, I note that they are under, well, many a times they have said, and they are receiving low payments. And I'm happy that there's some money that has been set aside for the adjustment for the police in terms of salary. We know that it is key, security is key, and the 3.5 billion that has been set aside for security or for the police adjustment salary is something that I would support this particular bill. And as for NG-CDF and GAF, at least there's also allocation that was given. But of course, I regret the fact that there was supposed to have been additional money to the NG-CDF. And we know very well the visible fund and what it does is so visible that had we added money onto the NG-CDF, then Kenyans would actually have an advantage or would have scored. And of course, Mr. Speaker, as I also disappointed by the fact that we were not able to get the 50 million which was envisaged in the earlier of every constituency getting 50 million for electricity connectivity. So I know for sure that with the government in place, and we pray that we collect more taxes so that we can be able to get electricity, because electricity is key, and many people actually, especially from the constituency I come from, Chesumei, we really have low, or the percentage of electricity connectivity is even below 30%, and this would have given us a big boost. Mr. Speaker, I stand to actually support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan Kiamba. Absent. Abdul Haro.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to put my voice onto this important debate. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I must say, given where we've come from as a country, and given the circumstances under which the Finance Bill 2024 was rejected, the Budget Committee and the Chair of the Budget Committee have done a wonderful job in trying to balance our budget for 2023 to 2024. I'm particularly impressed that the school feeding program under the Ministry of Education has been given 3 billion to continue feeding our students, especially those ones who come from the food insecure areas and those ones who come from our informal settlements. This is a very good initiative, despite the challenges we have. That we were able to maintain the school feeding program is a very good initiative. Honorable Speaker, I am also very happy that the 46,000 JSS teachers who are on interns are going to be confirmed on permanent and pensionable, and that we are going to recruit another 20,000 interns. This is also very crucial because education is a very, very important sector. Honorable Speaker, I'm also very happy that the budget has considered salaries for the health staff under the Universal Healthcare Program. We have about 8,500 UHC staff who've been serving for the last 4 years, sacrificing to give the essential service to Kenyans at half salary and foregoing a lot of benefits which their colleagues who have got permanent contracts with the county staff were enjoying. Honorable Speaker, now that finances have been factored in the budget for this universal health staff, I would urge that the Council of Governors, the Public Service Commission, Salaries and Remuneration Commission, and the National Treasury to move very fast so that they can confirm these 8,500 UHC staff to permanent and pensionable, and also to make sure that all those benefits that they were supposed to be enjoying for the last 4 years, and which different committees and different reports have indicated that they should be granted is granted. Honorable Speaker, having said that, there are two areas which I think as a country going forward, we need to very seriously consider how we can find money to finance them. Honorable Speaker, we have 2.3 million students who are going to sit their national examinations this year, in the next 3 months. And there's been a policy in this country that the government will waive the examination fees. Honorable Speaker, 5.1 billion, which is supposed to be going to the waiver of the examination fees, has not been factored in this budget. And we have only 3 months to the national examinations. This, Honorable Speaker, is going to be a challenge to the parents who will be forced to go back to their pockets now to finance the examination fees for those students. And therefore, going forward, I think it's a very critical issue that we need to consider. Honorable Speaker, the other issue that I think needs to be considered very seriously is the question of the 10 billion that has been reduced from the Teacher Service Commission, which was supposed to finance the second phase of the 2021-2025 comprehensive bargaining agreement between the teacher unions and the TSC. Honorable Speaker, these teachers are parents to the youths who are demonstrating on our streets recently. And if this comprehensive bargaining agreement between the Teacher Service Commission and the unions is not sorted, I'm afraid we may see the teachers who are the parents of the Gen Zs joining their students, their children on the streets. And therefore, going forward, I think this is also another area that we need to put our heads together despite the shrinking fiscal environment and the challenges we're having. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You keen and then you leave the chamber. That's not very good. Anton Watch? Nowhere. Naomi Wako?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important debate. As I stand, I support the supplementary appropriation number 2. And as I support, I want to just highlight on some few areas that has made me fully stand behind this. Number 1, the issue of school feeding program, which is very important. And before we went on recess, I was able to go around some of the schools in my county and witnessed how important this program is. School feeding program, especially in pastoralist area, is very important. And in some areas, it is the only meal that a child gets. And putting some amount of money, 3 billion, into that is to make sure that the needy children go to school, remain healthy, and their school performance, academic performance, also improving. So I want to say that I support this, and also prudence use of the finance, the money that has been allocated. Because in some cases, there are areas in different parts of this country that do not get the school feeding program, and yet they are needy. Again, the issue of JSS, the 46,000 teachers interns at a cost of 18.3 billion. That is something that in every part of this country, many people have been praying for. And many of our teachers who mold the lives of the young people and make them become important people. Because even for us who are here, if it were not for our teachers, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so putting that money there is to make sure that our young people, our young children, get the best education with the teachers who have been motivated. This also makes me to support this. Again, when you look at the police force, Mr. Speaker, many of us know very well the stress the police officers go through. And of late, our country has been going through so many things. And the people who are exposed are the police officers. We know very well that they are also exposed to a lot of danger. They're exposed to emotional stress. They're exposed to witnessing human suffering, people dying, people going through challenges, and also isolation because of the type of work they do. And yet in the past, their salary has been very minimal. By considering increment into this is giving us hope, because we will be able to reduce some stress and also help them to cope with their life. We know very well that many of them in the past, as a result of stress, have even committed suicide. Others have even finished their whole families. But with good package or something that is comforting to them, Honorable Speaker, then we will have solved some of our problems. We know very well that this supplementary budget and supplementary appropriation bill is to support us. And what we have gone through in the last 1 month has served like a wake-up call, Honorable Speaker, because many of us were exposed to a lot of danger. When the young people, the Gen Zs, came in, I was among the last people to get out of this chamber, and it was so scaring. And what they have done is they have given us a wake-up call, and I want to thank the Budget Committee for the hard work they have done, the time they have given to this, because if they didn't do what they have done, we would have been in much problems. But with what they have done, then the country is well guided. I want to commend the good work they have done, as I also call upon different ministries and also even the county government, so that we can all be good stewards, put into consideration the money, the little that we have, and live within that, so that we make good use of every coin that gets into our hands, and make sure that the common man is benefiting, and that Kenyans will see the positive impact of what we are approving. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Tom Odege.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to add my voice on this appropriation bill. First, I want to declare my support on the following grounds. Number one, by committing to confirm all the workers who are currently on either probation or contracts in the public service to be fully employed is a very positive move, which as a person who has been representing workers in this country, I have to support. Again, with the difficulties and the kind of measures proposed, it's very, very important for us to see that we propel our country to move forward, so that we don't lose track, and ensure that things are done and the country remains stable, which I think, as was enumerated by the chair of the Budget Committee, was very, very convincing. But I have an area which I wanted to raise, so that when we come across it from next week, it will not be a surprise to this House, because I've been approached by a number of workers' unions in this country. There are a number of CBAs signed in the public service, and in the financial year we are encountering now, there was supposed to be a second phase of payment of salaries and allowances, which was expected to be in this budget. And as I was listening yesterday, I realized the monies were not allocated to complete the CBAs as was signed. This is something which we learned most of the public service departments in courts, which I know the battle will be there unless we devise a way of renegotiating the second phase of the salaries which were supposed to be allocated, or else we are going to realize a number of strikes, both in the teaching fraternity and in the mainstream civil service, because of that second phase of payments. what SRC did was illegal. You cannot give advice on a CBA which has been signed and registered in court can only be renegotiated, but an advice cannot defy it. So let us expect a lot of anxiety in the public service when it comes to the second phase of the salaries which they were expecting, not unless something is done prior. And the CBAs in existence today is made in a way whereby an agreement is reached and an advice is given when the agreement has already been reached. When a CBA is registered in court, you cannot purport to be advising against. It will bring a very big weakness which will allow workers' unions in this country to take the government to court, and it will be very embarrassing, which I think is something which you can think about and see how best you can go about it so that we don't embarrass ourselves. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I support and thank you very much for the chance.
Ferdinand Wanyonyi. Ferdinand, I'm told you had contributed to this bill. Why are you on the screen then? Geoffrey Mwangi, member for Tetu. If you have contributed, please log out.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the Supplementary Appropriations Bill number 2. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to first thank the committee for budgeting, for a job well done. We know as a country we are going through unprecedented times in terms of our public finances. And it is a very, very tricky balancing act to ensure that all the interests in the country and all the programs and projects are taken care of, despite the fiscal limitations that we face. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I would just like to point out the fact that JSS teachers, the money for absorbing all the JSS teachers has been included. And in my own constituency, Tetu, we have quite a number of JSS teachers, and we are very, very excited that these teachers will now be on permanent and pensionable basis. Mr. Speaker, the issue of healthcare is again another serious one in this country. Just recently, we saw doctors on a very prolonged strike, demanding placement. We have seen community health workers and other healthcare professionals all crying and saying that they would like to be absorbed. They would like to get a fair share of wages in terms of the very, very important contribution that they make in this country. Mr. Speaker, seeing that 3.7 billion has been provided for the absorption of these healthcare workers, again, is a step in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, in this country, we have been talking about guaranteed minimum returns for a long time, for our coffee, for our milk, for our tea. And we are excited to see that in this bill, despite the limitations that we face, Kenya shillings 1.5 billion is going to go to milk stabilization, which is a form of guaranteed minimum return. And my own farmers in Tetu, Mr. Speaker, this will be received very, very warmly because we are, milk farmers. We have another 3 billion going to the coffee share fund, which is ensuring that our farmers can be paid even before their coffee has been sold at the auction. They can be able to get at least 80 shillings for their cherry. So the 3 billion is going to go a long way in terms of supporting this. Mr. Speaker, we have so many coffee debts, especially in Nyeri and Tetu. We have a lot of coffee debts, some of which date back 10 years, 20 years. And the fact that we have now provided 2 billion shillings to be able to write off some of these coffee debts, this is a very, very welcome relief. Another 2 billion has been given to provide milk coolers. And I am very confident that in my own county of Nyeri and my constituency Tetu, we are going to see some of these milk coolers coming to help us deal with the challenges today that we have of milk spoilage, of our wastage, and also the ability to store milk when we have an abundance, during the rainy season. Mr. Speaker, our roads, especially the Mau Mau Lot 3 roads, have stalled for some bit of time. We are told the contractor is owed a lot of money. But I'm excited to see that in this appropriations bill, an additional Kenya shilling 645 million has been provided to ensure that we can be able to revive these roads. So, Mr. Speaker, having said that, like I've said, we are in a very tight fiscal space. And it is very, very important that time and again, we keep reminding the people who are going to be custodians of these finances. These are public finances. They have to be used well. We have to ensure that we optimize every shilling. Mr. Speaker, in this country, previous studies have shown that the value for money that sometimes we get is about 6 cents for every shilling. It is time that we improve our fiscal management. It is time we streamline our procurement processes. It is time we streamline our usage so that we can raise our efficiency levels from the current 6 cents for every shilling to 90 cents or even more for every shilling we get. Because we do not have the space to raise much more additional revenues. Yet the wananchi out there are still demanding services, and rightly so, because that is why they elected their government. So I rise to support, Mr. Speaker, and pray that all the people in charge of this use this money prudently so that we can be able to achieve all the things that we promised our people and to ensure that the taxpayer gets value for their money. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gikaria, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to be thankful to you for giving me this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I will not dwell so much on the budget, but to dwell on our oversight role, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is not particularly for the departmental committees, Honorable Speaker. It is one thing giving out money to respective ministries and departments and agencies, but Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the usages of the same funding, then the ministries are not accountable to some of these things. Some ministries go berserk and they cannot even be able to account. So it's important, Honorable Speaker, for us in this House to take our respective, under Article 95, I guess, where of the 3 functions of what we are supposed to do, that we must take our responsibility for oversight seriously so that Kenyans can be able to see value for the monies that have been appropriated and monies that has already been taken back to the respective ministries, Honorable Speaker. And I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, with a lot of, as committees, we need to be bringing our budget implementation reports on a quarterly basis, Honorable Speaker, that will be able to highlight where the shortcomings are and we can be able to take action, Honorable Speaker. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, much as I support the supplementary appropriation bill, Honorable Speaker, it is important for us also to realize the mining sector, for example, the mining ministry, a ministry that had been forgotten, a ministry that was dead and buried. With the last financial year, Honorable Speaker, I've seen the tremendous progress from the Ministry of Mining. But Honorable Speaker, 100% reduction of the development vote in that ministry does not go that well, because that ministry, Honorable Speaker, it is one of those ministries that would be contributing greatly and immensely. And I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, given the proper resources, given the proper funding in that ministry, Honorable Speaker, and with the 970 different minerals that we have in this country, with a proper surveillance, a proper security system, Honorable Speaker, we want to say that the Ministry of Mining is a ministry that the Budget and Appropriation Committee ought to reconsider. It might be a little bit difficult for now, but maybe, Honorable Speaker, going forward, assuming that our revenue improves in terms of collection, Honorable Speaker, I would really want to request the Budget and Appropriation Committee to consider the little development allocation that had been allocated to the Ministry of Mining was taken away. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, is what my colleagues have indicated, particularly about the teachers. Honorable Speaker, CBA is not just a paper, and it is important for this government to start thinking seriously about this sector where the teachers can be able to be considered for the few increment. This CBA that was signed so many years ago needs to be considered so that we can be able to. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Mover, Dindi Nyoro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I request before I reply, I give Honorable Pato Chuka Igabangombe. We went to the same university together, and he was a good boy. So, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Didi Nyolo. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this appropriation bill supplementary 1. And first to congratulate the chairman of the Budget and Appropriation Committee and the Committee of Budget and Appropriation, because, Mr. Speaker, we know we have been going through very difficult times of even scaling down the budget after we had appropriated money, but the finance bill failed. I want to thank him specifically for looking at things that touch at the people of this country. First, there is the money for coffee, especially from my place, where coffee is a major issue in this country. Coffee is a major foreign currency earner. Looking at the tea farmers, looking at the milk farmers, Mr. Speaker, giving 8 billion to UHC and knowing that this is a flagship project for this government. Mr. Speaker, this has been a very difficult time, and for the Budget Committee to have been able to balance this budget and come down to where we are today, Mr. Speaker, I just congratulate them and support this appropriation bill, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, very lastly, I request that I give the member for Soin, Sigowet, Honorable Justice, a minute. Then I will reply.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity, and thank you, Chairman, for giving me this opportunity. I just want to say, Mr. Speaker, that we've taken the painful decision of effecting cuts so that we can be able to accommodate our expenditure. And I want to commend the committee for making sure that the budget for the Ministry of Education is hardly touched. It's been touched a little bit so that we can be able to assure our teachers, especially the JSS teachers, that they will be employed, and the new teachers that we require that they will be employed. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we wish that we do the last mile, because that is what the people are asking us on a daily basis. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I really want to thank you very much for the support you've given this process. Administratively, as Parliament, we have received all the support we needed to go through the reports and also to come up now with the appropriations bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, also I want to thank all the members of Parliament. They have been very committed. All the departmental committees, they have worked around the clock to make sure that we deliver a budget that reflects the current situation of the country, and especially as we forge forward to the growth of our economy. Honorable Speaker, also, I want to remind members that they have been very, very forthright in making sure that we safeguard very important issues. Even when we have budget cuts, Honorable Speaker, I want to laud all the members of this House, because in unison, we decided that even if there are budget cuts, that the monies for confirmation of JSS interns will remain intact, which we have done. We have also made sure that we have allocated money for milk farmers, especially to new KCC, to defend the new milk prices to not less than 50 shillings per litre. We have also allocated 2 billion shillings into coffee, 3 billion shillings into coffee cherry fund to support our coffee sector, where majority of farmers now are receiving very little money, Honorable Speaker. I was in Kiharu the other day, and because of the challenges around the sector, Honorable Speaker, farmers are not receiving their fair share. We have also allocated 2 billion shillings into the coffee sector for payment of debts owed to coffee societies, Honorable Speaker, and especially to banks. Honorable Speaker, also I want to thank members of this House because we allocated 3.5 billion shillings to enhance the salaries of our security officers because police officers in Kenya deserve better, and we have allocated 3.5 billion shillings to enhance their salaries immediately after this appropriations bill is signed by the President, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, these cuts have been across vertically and horizontally, across all levels of government. The national government is losing over 121 billion Kenya shillings, the executive. Also, the county governments are losing 20 billion shillings in regards to equitable share. Also, in terms of the national government, all the arms of government have lost. Honorable Speaker, executive has lost. Here in Parliament, we have lost 3.7 billion Kenya shillings. And I want to laud the patriotism shown by members, because members of Parliament have said in unison they are willing to travel less, both here domestically and foreign, for the sake of our economy. And I want to thank the members of Parliament for that selflessness, Honorable Speaker. They are willing, some had actually even volunteered for their salaries to be cut. Only that then there was issues around SRC and Parliament, Honorable Speaker. That is patriotism shown by members of this 13th Parliament, Honorable Speaker. Also, judiciary has lost. Honorable Speaker, today we have had a ruling, and this is very far-reaching. The ruling today by our judiciary, Honorable Speaker, I want to say without blinking of an eye, that out of that ruling today, in regards to the finance bill of 2023, not even of 2024, Honorable Speaker, therefore this communicates very clearly to these 1,000 Kenyans that as we do supplementary 2, we are likely to come to cut the budget further. Because if you go back to the finance bill of 2022, Honorable Speaker, we are obedient Kenyans. When we are told by the judiciary that then even that one we cannot proceed with. The issue is that we are likely to come back to this House maybe the next 1 or 2 months to cut the budget further. And these cuts will be across again. All the 2 levels of government are likely to lose. All the arms of government, that is the executive, then Parliament and judiciary, we will all take a haircut. And some may actually have their heads chopped, Honorable Speaker, because we need to contain ourselves within what judiciary has ruled today. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we need now in this House, our homework is one, critical one. As we wait for supplementary 2, let us continue digging where we need more cuts. We need more cuts by cutting the size of government. The parastatals have to be less. We need more cuts in Parliament. We need more cuts in the judiciary itself, Honorable Speaker, because we need to live within the rule of law, as was said here today by our courts, even as we explore on how to grow our economy. What I'm just trying to say, Honorable Speaker, all that we are doing as executive, the laws we pass here in Parliament, the pronouncements we get from the judiciary are far-reaching. Once you say it, it does not end there. And therefore, all of us have to feel it, and I am sure we are willing, all of us, to tighten our belts. With those many words, Honorable Speaker, I beg to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Dindi. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and the application toward the service of the year ending on 30th June 2025 and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Thank you.
Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, will you be upstanding?
Give me the mic. Honorable members, order. This is the Committee of the Whole House in the consideration of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, Bill number 2, Appropriation number 2, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024. I hope the chairman is ready, including this amendment. Members, this should not take a long time. We concentrate, and we'll start right away.
Clause 3.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Because there's no amendment to that, I now put the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Members, I propose the question that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Again, because no amendment to that, I now put the question that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Members, I propose the question that Clause 5 be part of the bill. Will as many of that, I propose the question that Clause 5 be part of the bill. I put the question that Clause 5 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Schedules. First schedule.
Members, I propose the question that the first schedule be the schedule of the bill. Chairperson. Schedule 1.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chairperson, I wish to move that the first schedule to the bill be amended that A, in vote R 1291 under program 061-2000, that is public prosecution services, by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 20 million appearing in column 3, that is supply. B, in vote D 1162 under the program 0112-000, livestock resources management and development, by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 937,550,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 987,550,000. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Now, members, I propose the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the chair of the BSC committee. I put the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the chair of the BSC committee. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many opinions say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that the first schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many opinions say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
Honourable members, I propose the question that the second schedule be the schedule of the bill. Mover.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I wish to move that the clause 2 of the bill be amended by deleting the expression 8,399,010,013. Thank you very much. Sorry, I was reading clause 2. It's second schedule. Honorable Chair, I wish to move that the second schedule to the bill be amended in vote R1071, that is under the program 0717-000, General Administration Planning and Support Services, by deleting the expression 7,500,949,077 shillings appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 13,350,949,077 shillings to under the program 0718-000 Public Financial Management by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 104,697,153 shillings appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 4,504,697,153 shillings. In vote R1104 under the program 1014,000 irrigation and land reclamation by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 52,444,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 12,443,000. That is Roman 2 under the program 1015,000 water storage and flood control by deleting the expression Kenya shillings, that is 4,962,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 5,038,000. C. In vote D1065 under the program 0504,000 University Education by deleting the expression 3160,640,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 3,090,640,000. D. In vote D1071 under the program 0719,000 Economic and Financial Policy Formulation and Management by inserting the expression Kenya shillings 767,200,000 in column 3, that is supply. Roman 2 under the program 0718,000 Public Financial Management by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 2,632,600,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 1,865,400,000. E. Honorable Chairperson, in vote D1082 under the program 040,2000 National Referral and Specialized Services by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 6,110,500,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 6,010,500,000. F. in vote D1091 under the program 0202-000 road transport by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 7,213,316,879 shillings appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 6,963,316,879 FAG. In vote D1094 under the program 010-2000 housing development and human settlement by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 47,285,000,000 appearing in column 4, appropriation in 8, and substituting therefore the expression the expression Kenya shillings 1 billion. Honorable Chairperson, I hope members are noting the figures. I'll give the justification later. H, in vote D11099 under the program 10-17000 water and sewerage infrastructure development by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 2,620,810,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 2,470,810,000. I, in vote D1112 under the program 0101-000 land policy and planning by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 3,340,376,000 appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 2,840,376,000. Honorable Chair, in J, in the vote D1291 at the program 0612-000 public prosecution services by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 42,500,000 appearing in column 3, supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 22,500,000. K, in vote R2042 under the program 0721-000 national registration, representation, and oversight by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 2,136,435,425 shillings appearing in column 3, that is supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 1,906,435,425 shillings in vote D2043 under the program 0723-000 general administration planning and support services by deleting the expression Kenya shillings 716,890,886 shillings appearing in column 3 supply, and substituting therefore the expression Kenya shillings 946,890,886. Honorable Chair, just a brief explanation. I want to start with the I. In the vote D1169, Honorable Chair, there is something we'll be doing in the certificate under the program 010-800, that is crop development and management. Honorable Chair, this rearrangement within the same program is supposed to provide Kenya shillings 310 million for crop harvest management, Honorable Chair, by reallocating within the program, that is agriculture technology innovation, which will be seating 50 million, Roman 2 aggregation centers within the same, Honorable Chair, will be seating 230 million, construction of HQ and satellite campuses for the Kenya School of Agriculture, which will be seating 30 million, a total of which, Honorable Chair, is Kenya shillings 310 million the money that will be going into the kitty for crop post-harvest management, Honorable Chair, which is money that is pending to be paid in this very noble venture of making sure that our supplies and harvest are secure. The other ones, Honorable Chair, in the first one, we are rearranging the monies that was meant for pending bills, Honorable Chair, some of which 4.4 billion shillings will be going into the budget reserve. Honorable Chair, as the members of this House know, when we allocate a block figure, for example, into pending bills, to access that money, we will need actually to come to this House in another supplementary for that vote to go to specifics. Honorable Chair, what you have done is to reduce that kitty through the National Treasury and in consultation to put that money into budget reserve, money which can be used when the country is faced with an emergency. Honorable Chair, the other ones are marginal, majority of which are just rearrangements, but we have also enhanced the monies for Kenyans, Honorable Chair, who need to be resettled, RAD resettlement. We had the Mai Mahiu, Honorable Chair, where we had a landslide and many Kenyans were needed to be to be given alternative land. We have allocated 250 million shillings for that purpose. Also, there is absentee landlord, which majorly is in the coastal area, where the government needs to purchase this land to resettle or to face the issue of squatters head-on. We have also allocated monies for that purpose. Honorable Chair, majority of which then that is here are just realignments, moving the votes, what we call cleanup. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I beg to move. Do I need a seconder?
No.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
No, honorable members, I now propose the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Is the Honorable Justice?
Chair, I just want to comment on one aspect in which we've made a very painful decision. Aggregation centers are quite important when it comes to agricultural development in this country. But when you look at the losses we incur in terms of post-harvest, which is about 30% of the produce, Mr. Chair, then we agree that the 310 million be moved from aggregation centers to post-harvest losses so that we can have dryers. Thank you. I support.
Yes, the Honorable Majority Leader.
Chair, let me also support that particular amendment. As the Chair has said, this is more towards settlement of pending bills. And many Kenyans, you remember, and including members who come from the grain basket of Kenya, especially in the south and north rift parts of our country, that this year and last year, because of the heavy rains, many farmers across the country could not dry their maize. You, Honorable Chair, including yourself, as you drive past Kitale, you see farmers usually spread their maize on the roads.
Because you know my party symbol is maize and we do maize.
And in open fields. But Chair is not just addressing the post-harvest losses, as Justice Kemei, Honorable Justice Kemei says, and you know he's a very good farmer from Kericho, but also addressing health and hygiene matters. When we leave our farmers to spread their maize out in the fields, you expose that maize to toxins when vehicles are driving past the maize spread along roadsides. And also with the heavy rains that came this year, the prevalence of aflatoxins in maize was going to be very high. But following the investment that was done in dryers, maize dryers that were deployed in those maize growing areas, we've not seen very many cases of aflatoxin in maize. And many, like the Honorable Mulyungi, you remember some years back, people in Kitui County died from consuming maize that had aflatoxins. And this is why it's important to support this kind of initiative. And I must thank the chair of the Budget Committee and the chair Agriculture Committee for having factored in that to ensure that our farmers are not losing their maize, but they're also able to dry that maize properly, even in adverse weather conditions like the prolonged rains and during this cold season. And not just maize, even wheat and rice. I hope to see the same dryers being deployed in Mwea, in Ahero and Nyando, so that rice farmers are also able to dry their rice even when it is flooding, and they're able to sell that rice and other grains around the country, and I support.
Okay, let me hear the member for, I haven't had the member for Muhoroni in a long time. Give it a minute. There you are.
Thank you very much, Chair, for giving me the opportunity. Chair, the Chair of Budget Appropriation Committee has mentioned something about money they're keeping for the purpose of purchasing land, which is meant to resettle a few people who were disadvantaged. He has not given us the exact amount, and we do not know who are this targeted group, how are they going to be selected. I'm saying so because the government sometimes, 2008, had made efforts to resettle some people who were displaced during the 2008 skirmishes. The exercise was started in my constituency, and a few people benefited, many people were left behind, and it has not continued since then. It stopped, and it has not been revived, and I hope we are going to be the beneficiaries in the preference of what he has given. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No for Seme.
Thank you, Chair. To start with, on exactly what Honorable Koyo has said, that there are actually IDPs from western part of Kenya, where there was actually a petition that was brought from this house. And actually the petition, when the petition committee actually recommended that those people should be compensated and the funds be put aside. If this is not, is a block fund, then is it possible that those people can also benefit from this? That is one. Two, the issue of block fund, the chair actually is indicated, when you put a block fund, then it means that later on when you want to use it, you have to come back to the house so that it is itemized. Why should we do that in the first place? And when now it goes into the treasury reserve, then how will it be used? At least if it came back, the house would know how it will be used. But if it goes to treasury reserve, how does it get used? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The last one, Honorable Ruto.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I also rise to support the Chair Budget and Appropriation on this particular amendment. Post-harvest losses has been a big challenge to our farmers coming from that particular region. And I want to say this, ever we started the issue of subsidized fertilizer and subsidized farm input, we have realized as a country the reduction in import bill for the basic food, that is ugali, that requires the use of maize. And I want to say this direction is quite encouraging. Rather, only I need to also follow up that post-harvest challenges is not only about aspect of storage, but also the issue of markets. I need to inquire and ask my chairman from Budget and Appropriation to consider looking at a way of resourcing the budgets of the same so that to stabilize the price and encourage the farmer. Lastly, the issue of resettlement. As we talk of the resettlement on the issues of Naivasha, let us also think about the landless people in the Mau areas who are affected, in Serengoni, in Nandi County, so that we begin to address the issue adequately and inconclusively. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Chair, 1 minute, please.
Honorable Chair, thank you very much even for the members who have enriched this debate. Honorable Koyo, in terms of resettlement, the kind of money we are looking at are the Kenyans who got affected during the El Nino. My Mahio, for example, is 250 million. The government is buying land just nearby so that we don't disrupt also their social lives too grossly. There is also another kitty, especially for coastal area, where we have a bigger challenge of squatters, and especially buying this land from absentee landlords so that the locals there can continue also living as normal Kenyans, not just as squatters. Honorable Dr. Nyikar, is the same issue. This money is not basically for IDPs. It is majorly for squatters, but also Kenyans who got affected during the El Nino floods, and not just floods, the landslides. I have gone to my Mahio myself, the owners, the previous people or Kenyans who are in the land, there is no land to go back to, and that is why the government is coming out to bail them out.
Thank you.
The last one, from Honorable Julius Ruto, I agree. what we are doing in agriculture is just realignments. And the last one, the issue of block figures. The issue of block figures, it also comes up as a buffer for the budget, so that as you anticipate to go to another supplementary, there is a buffer somewhere in the budget, so that you are not at the brim or the limit when it comes to deficit. So it's usually useful in the budget making process. But you can access the budget reserve. Budget reserve and how it is created, any emergency in any sector. Only the Treasury PS needs to give an AIE and the money can be spent.
Thank you. Honourable members, now I put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair of the budget committee. Will, as another opinion, say aye? Will, as another opinion, say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that the second schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will, as another opinion, say aye? Aye. Will, as another opinion, say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Members, I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and members should know that the Chairperson is actually a member of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2 of the bill be amended by deleting the expression 8,399,010,013 shillings, appearing before the words, the sum of, and substituting therefore the expression 8,429,010,013 shillings. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Members, I now propose a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will, as another opinion, say aye? Will, as many opinion, say nay? Ayes have it. I go ahead then to put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will, as another opinion, say aye? Aye. Will, as many opinion, say nay? Ayes have it.
Title.
Remember, as I propose a question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will, as many of the opinion, say aye? Aye. Will, as many of the opinion, say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There being an amendment, I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will, as many of the opinion, say aye? Aye. Will, as many of the opinion, say nay? Ayes have it. Chair, going for reporting.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the supplementary appropriation, that is number 2, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Oh, members, I therefore then put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the supplementary appropriation number 2, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendment. Will, as many of the opinion, say aye? Aye. Will, as many of the opinion, say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Mover, you may. Chairperson, you may move the reporting.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, and approved the same with amendments.
Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024. And Honorable Chairperson, before the seconder, members could have noted that in the program in housing, there is a decrement of 46 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, it is important for members to note that this is purely A&A. There is some money under the housing which is now held in liquid assets, which then did not necessitate us to budget for it afresh. And that is why we are dropping it now, Honorable Speaker, because the department can still access the money for housing from the liquid assets they still hold of 38 billion Kenya shillings. The other one was adjustments for A&A. We thought it proper that we realign A&A as the year progresses so that we can be nearer to the reality and so that we budget a figure and a projection that is much more close to the actual figure. Honorable Speaker, I also now request the Honorable Member for Soin Sigowet, the very hardworking Honorable Justice Kemei to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I second, may I commend the Chair and the entire team in the Budget and Appropriations Committee for a job well done. And I second. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity to thank members for the expedient consideration of this first Supplementary Appropriations Bill of 2024-2025. And Honorable Speaker, as we said when we were doing the second reading of this bill, this is unprecedented in the history of our Parliament and indeed our country, because it comes only within the first month of the new financial year of 24-25. And as is now clear, this was largely occasioned by the rejection of the Finance Bill of 2024. Honorable Speaker, this is to say that for every action, there is a reaction. And for every choice, there is a consequence. When we acted in the manner we acted regarding the Finance Bill, there had to be a reaction, and the reaction is therefore to cut our budget to commensurate with the losses that we make in terms of the revenues that we were going to collect in this financial, or rather during this financial year.
One moment, Leader. Sergeant at Arms, I need a Sergeant at Arms somewhere here, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying, Honorable Speaker, and also because we made a choice, we have to live with the consequences. We made a choice to forego part of our revenue generation measures or revenue raising measures in this financial year. And therefore, the consequences are some of the losses that we have seen in terms of the budgetary allocations that we had, some now that we have to cut back to be able to finance our budget within the resources that will be available. And also, Honorable Speaker, with the court judgment by the Court of Appeal today, nullifying the Finance Act of 2023, that tells you, Honorable Speaker, that it is also likely that we will be here again for further cuts. Because, Honorable Speaker, the government of Kenya has no other way of generating revenue other than through taxation. And indeed, there's a balance in the United States where they say that there is no taxation, no representation without taxation. Or no taxation without representation, like in the state of Washington, D.C. Honorable Speaker, the reverse is also true. There can never be representation without taxation. And that is a fact of life that we have to live with. It's shocking, Honorable Speaker, and I'm not here to dissect the ruling of the Court of Appeal today, the 3 honorable judges. But, Honorable Speaker, what the courts are telling us today is also an affront not just on our democracy, but our constitutional order in this country under the 2010 Constitution. The courts today are telling us, through their judgment today, that for every amendment, including the amendments that we have just passed on the appropriations bill, they must go through public participation. The courts are telling us that amendments that emanate from the public participation process must then be taken back to the people for a second round of public participation. Therefore, when I read that judgment this afternoon, Honorable Speaker, I was left wondering and asking myself, does it mean then that all acts of parliament passed by this House post-2010 then are also a nullity in law and unconstitutional? Because there is not a single act of parliament enacted by this House and even by the other House that has not had amendments in third reading. And those amendments have never gone back to the people for public participation. That is a fallacy, Honorable Speaker, of that judgment today by the Court of Appeal, with all due respect to the learned judges. But as learned as the judges are, Honorable Speaker, we must now start asking ourselves whether we are in a constitutional democracy or what kind of governance structure we have in this country. I hear the Honorable TJ Kajwang, not my words, the Honorable TJ Kajwang is saying judicial dictatorship from his seat. But we must be careful, Honorable Speaker. We must be the guardians of our Constitution if the judiciary fails to be the guardians of our Constitution. Because Parliament is the law-making body in the country. If the judiciary desires to be the lawmakers, they have the option of resigning from the judicial seats and come and run for parliamentary seats and come make laws in this House. But we cannot have a situation where the judiciary now wants to make laws from the bench. It has never happened anywhere in the world, in any democracy, Honorable Speaker. I saw last week in the United States, President Joe Biden outgoing in the United States, having similar problems with their Supreme Court. This era, Honorable Speaker, of judicial activism and judicial dictatorship must and needs to come to an end, Honorable Speaker. Because the judiciary is telling us that the legislative arm of government cannot legislate now. The executive arm of government will never execute anything without being superimposed on what to do by the judiciary. Honorable Speaker, I just say that in passing, because we have gone through a third reading, we have made amendments to the Appropriations Act. I'm here wondering whether another judge now will tell me or tell this House that we must go to the public for public participation. And these judges must understand that most of the amendments that come in through the Committee of the Whole are usually as a consequence of public participation. Even the Finance Act of 2023, even the Finance Bill, the rejected Finance Bill, all the amendments that came out of the third stage, the committee stage, emanated from what members of the public told their elected representatives. We do not want tax on bread. We came here, we amended the law, we removed tax on bread. They told us we don't want tax on motor vehicles. We came here, we amended. Now a judge is sitting somewhere in the courts and telling us, for you now to remove that tax, go back to the people and conduct another round of public participation. I don't know, Honorable Speaker, what kind of country we are in. I don't know whether it is what Honorable TJ Kajwang describes as judicial dictatorship, or it is judicial overreach, or it is people in their fantasy world imagining now they can be anything. You can be a judge, you can be a lawmaker, you can be a president. If you want to be a president, run for president. If you want to be an MP, run for MP. If you want to be a senator, run for Senate. But don't overreach. This judicial overreach must also now come to an end, Honorable Speaker. And I say that with immense respect to our learned friends in the judiciary. They must know they have boundaries. We have a country to guard. We have a country to govern. This country can only be governed and become a country if we do so under the rule of law, Honorable Speaker. And that rule of law, I can see with these numbers, Honorable Speaker, of these members of Parliament, we can put this matter to rest. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order. The mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024, be now read at that time. And Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, we cannot continue to belabor that point, but it is important for us to know that every budget has the revenue and the expenditure side. But again, this country belongs to all of us. And therefore, all the decisions that we make affect all of us. This House is law-abiding. And therefore, if the fallback position that we will have is the revenue-raising measures for 2 years ago, it therefore means we also have to adjust our expenditure to be that of 2 years ago, Honorable Speaker. And what that portends, therefore, is that if we sustain the same, we'll be in this House not very far from today. And Honorable Speaker, what we'll be coming to do is to again realign our expenditure with the same revenue that we have been contained to. And therefore that means everyone across all levels of government, in all the arms of the national government, therefore, they have to carry a commensurate burden. And Honorable Speaker, what therefore that means is that the cuts that we did in this budget will still have to dig deeper. Honorable Speaker, I hope that those further cuts will not endanger service delivery across all the arms of government. That is where we are legislature, the executive, and also the judiciary itself. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I hope that we will be able to make decisions as a country and all arms that we can be able to live with. Honorable Speaker, as I call the second, I want to request, I can't purport to do the work of the Speaker, but I can see from where I sit that there are so many members who would want to comment, especially around the issue that has happened today, because it is very much related to the process that we are doing now. So if there is time, you can give a few. And Honorable Speaker, it's just a request. I cannot purport to do your work. I now request the Honorable Member for Thika Town. He's a member of where my father used to live, in Kiadutu slums in Thika Town. And therefore, he can qualify as the MP for my father, who was a carpenter in Thika, living in Kiadutu slums, the Honorable Aris Nganga, to second this motion.
The Honorable Alice Nganga,
Thank you.
MP
Thika Town.
Thika Town and the father of the Chair of Budget and Appropriations Committee. He can now second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the Supplementary Appropriation Bill number 2. Honorable Speaker, let me say though there were major cuts that we did not anticipate, but we found ourselves in this situation. So moving forward, we want first to thank the committee for budget and the chair who is seated next to me, who I represent, where the father used to work very well. And I say, but out of it, I want to thank the committee on budget because the Inua Jamii program will still continue. And you know, Inua Jamii program deals with the vulnerable in our community. And today I've heard that we have set aside 1.25 billion Kenya shilling for resettling those people who don't have homes. And there's nothing good like giving people their dignity by owning homes and owning of land. So that one is a move towards a positive direction, as well as the Mahio victims who are affected by the floods that we experienced earlier this year. Also, we have seen 250 million Kenya shillings going to them. That one will help them to resettle them once again, to own homes, and the families now and their children can be able to go to school. Honorable Speaker, the school feeding program will continue, and we have the committee has set aside 3 billion Kenya shillings, and we know without food, children cannot be able to study properly. Now, with this amount of money, though schools from my region don't benefit, but whatever, those ones who are benefiting, this is a move that is very, very important. These children, at least they can be looking forward to going to school because they know at least they'll get a meal. And with a meal, that one means they can be able to study well. Before I conclude, Honorable Speaker, may I also commend the committee because we added money of 3.5 billion to our policemen and women. We are going to motivate them. They are part of this society, Honorable Speaker, and they needed a decent salary. So even them, they will be proud when they are working in their line of duty. We know they go through very hard time, especially when we were having demonstration in this country. We saw they were also suffering and they are human beings, and we needed to add this amount of money to their salary because they work day and night. To conclude, Honorable Speaker, I also want to say this. We have 3 arms of government, the judiciary, the executive, and here the legislative part of it. Why don't every person stick to their own role? As we come here to make laws, but immediately we do that, the judiciary find it fit to go and annul everything that we have done here. So what is the point of having this house? If everything we are going to be passing in this house, they are going to be finding it not fit to be part of the laws that we pass in this parliament. I would say every person to stick to their own duties. And if the judiciary really want the parliament not to exist, we need to start by cutting on their budget. Because if we don't give them money, if they feel the pinch and the heat of us not giving them money, then they'll make sure when they are making rulings, they know those rulings affect the entire nation. So where they sit, if they can wake up in the morning, they have fuel in their car and they have salaries, they don't care of the rest of the Kenyan citizen. That one is very wrong. So whatever they do, they put Kenya as a nation first before they go to their selfish interests. I support, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly, sorry, let me repeat, Honorable members. I propose the question that the Supplementary Appropriation Bill number 2 Bill, National Assembly, Bill number 39 of 2024, be now read a third time. Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? Yes, so then I will put the question. Honorable Nyikal, it is only you who wants to comment. So, honorable members, I now put the question. I have first and foremost confirmed that we have a quorum present in the House for purposes of making a decision. I therefore put the question that the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, be now read a third time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and their application towards the service of the year ending on the 30th June 2025, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Report of the Auditor General on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for 9 constituencies in Bungoma County. Resumption of debate.
For resumption of debate, the Honorable Deco M. Barrow, MP for Garissa Township. The Honorable Stephen M. Mogaka, MP for West Mugirango. The Honorable Andrew Okwome, you want to contribute to this? The Honorable Gideon Muliungi, not in the house, attending to other duties. The Honorable James Nyikal, MP for Semi, you want to contribute to this? Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me opportunity to address this issue of national constituency government fund, NG-CDF. Mr. Speaker, this is an extremely important fund in this country. And when I went through this report, it looks like all the audit reports that have come to the House way back to 2013, 2014, have actually not been scrutinized by the committee. Therefore, I start by commending the committee for going through, because this is a fund that has done much for this country, and it is important to assess how it is working by going through the audit reports. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, this is a fund that has been increasingly challenged in court and everywhere on its constitutionality. Yet it is a fund that is extremely important to the people, that has shown that devolved funds can actually be much more readily accessible to the people and more productive to the people, perhaps a lot more than the funds in the county. Therefore, we really, I would start by saying that we must actually get these reports, the audit reports, looked at as frequently as possible to prove one point, Mr. Speaker, that the whole country has ignored. As people have claimed and gone to court many times that the NG-CDF is unconstitutional, the one thing that they have actually not looked at is what has it done. I think this is the fund, Mr. Speaker, which has the lowest overhead. This is the fund that the people has felt more than any other fund. This is the fund which has been most responsive for the people's needs in areas where it is used, particularly in education and security. It is the fund where if there's an emergency, the people can approach the committee and within days, they actually get a response and get served. Most other government funds have long bureaucratic processes that when people are in need, actually they do not get the help they deserve. So, Mr. Speaker, this is an extremely important fund. And Mr. Speaker, the committee has actually highlighted some areas in their recommendations that I would like to comment about. So, Speaker, one is the area of land purchase. I think this has been an issue in very many constituencies. Again, because of the ease of utilization of this fund, it has been possible to actually get to use the money in land that has not been completely purchased or legally purchased, and therefore jeopardize the ownership, the public ownership of those structures that are put in that area. Therefore, the committee recommendation that the NG-CDF board should establish a policy on the procedure of buying land and to adhere to the appropriate government rules is extremely important. But I think the procedures of land are there. What is probably lacking is the fund managers and the committees' knowledge on these areas, and therefore need for their sensitization on land purchase, so that they ensure that wherever government money is used in NG-CDF, it is done on land that is actually public land that cannot later on be lost. Mr. Speaker, they have also made a recommendation on the use of emergency fund, and this actually, in my view, needs a broader definition than in the Act now. So, Speaker, as I said earlier, this is the one fund that people can relate to. To begin with, when the proposals are being done, Mr. Speaker, the people participate. And even after that, if there's a problem, like a house is burnt, the toilets are sunk, or some emergency for schools like that, they quickly respond. Mr. Speaker, it is important that the definition of emergency is broad so that people are not, the fund is not tied, the committees are not tied, so that where the people are needy, they cannot use it. Mr. Speaker, I'll give you an example where we had a government school that had been put in land that had not been properly purchased, and we had put aside money to fence the school, only to realize that the owners had gone to court and were actually threatening to repossess the land plus the building thereon. And we utilized the fund on an emergency basis, which was later questioned, and it was said that that was not an emergency. In my view, that was an emergency. So the definition of emergency should be broad, because this is a fund for the people. It is, people have access to it. It should not be so strictly controlled to avoid or to prevent quick use. They have also made a comment and made a recommendation on partial completion of projects. Again, this is important, that actually when a project is funded, it should be completed. But what normally happens is sometimes the board allocates money and not enough money as was in the proposal, and then they say they'll allocate more. As much as that is good, it actually delays the projects. And I think that where we are going to do partial, particularly I think this works in urban areas where schools actually need to be large, double-storied houses that cannot be done at one time or in one go. So I think we should see that those ones, the financing is done appropriately, adequate money is given, at least within 2 financial years, then it is done. The Speaker, they also made a recommendation on a policy framework of costing projects. I agree with them on that. But, Mr. Speaker, there is an implementation that is going on within the NG-CDF board here that I think we should look at very carefully, because it will give us problems. They are actually setting up an office for an architect and quantity surveyors that are looking at the proposal that has been done. Mr. Speaker, the problem I foresee, maybe the office is still early, but if all the constituencies, the 290s, when they have made their proposals, they have made their BQs, if they are to become here to be scrutinized and approved by one office, Mr. Speaker, that is going to be a big bottleneck. And maybe they will respond by opening many branches of these offices of quantity surveyors and architects. But, Mr. Speaker, that would be a duplication. In all the counties, there are actually offices of quantity surveyors and architects. I think we should just improve our relationship with those offices so that they help us. The problem is they tend to actually charge a very high amount, which actually increases the overheads. But that is something I think that can be addressed at national level. But I would not recommend that we actually get an office locally here, a single office that is actually scrutinizing all the proposals. It will be a bottleneck. I think that's something we should look at very carefully. Mr. Speaker, they also recommended that there should be better coordination between the Office of the Auditor General.
Dr. Nikal, I see light has been put on, and because of that, I see you rushing.
Yes.
Don't rush.
Okay, let me I was almost coming to the end. I see that they have also recommended that there should be better coordination with the Office of the Auditor General. Once again, Mr. Speaker, this is something that should be done. The committee, the fund manager, the chairs, and they should actually be sensitized, educated, and respond to audit queries, or actually management letters. Because normally they don't respond to the management letters, and issues that would have been quickly resolved become audit queries. So I think those are recommendations that I think are appropriate. Mr. Speaker, if you allow, I'll divert a bit. We are...
I want to add you more minutes. How many more minutes? Less than 10 minutes.
Yes, at 3 will be okay.
Give Honorable Dr. Nikal 5 more minutes.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I've had my colleagues complain here of the court decisions. I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard something either the courts or the judges are blind. And they go by the letter of the law. And those laws are made by this House. If you're in a situation, Mr. Speaker, where courts are increasingly finding the laws that are made in this House unconstitutional, where does the blame lie? As much as we would blame the courts, we must first of all look at ourselves. Do we scrutinize the laws that we make adequately? So that how do they become unconstitutional? And they have passed through the legal system in Parliament, and then they have passed through Parliament, through the committees in Parliament, which have legal advisors, and then the courts actually find them unconstitutional. I think the blame starts with us, Mr. Speaker. And I know in this Parliament, we have had recently where we have come with this thing of put the question, and people very quickly with the majority pass the law without listening to people, without discussion. The dictum that the minority will have their say and the majority will have their way is extremely important, Mr. Speaker, because the view of the minority may sometimes help situations where important issues would have been missed. So it is important that members of this House are allowed to put points, even when we're in a hurry. Sometimes it sounds like instructions to pass laws quickly. I think therein lies the problem that we may be blaming the courts for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Nikal. The MP for Luanda.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, we've had enough, or I kind of see that the issue at hand has been well articulated, which to request your indulgence that the mover may be called to reply.
Is the Honorable Stephen Mugaka seeking to speak to this motion? It's not in the House, sir. The Honorable Gideon Mulungi, you want to speak to this motion? You are the mover?
Yes. So can I reply?
Just a minute. There is discretion the Speaker exercises before that determination is made in the circumstances. The Honorable Japheth Nyakundi, do you by any chance intend to speak to this particular one? The Honorable Gabriel Tongoyo. Now, therefore, there being no further interest in terms of contributions to the matter, may the mover now reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to reply, and I want to start by thanking members who have contributed to this report very positively from the time it was tabled in the House. And I also want to thank my committee members for putting this report into place under the office of the clerk. Mr. Speaker, the comments which have been raised have been noted, especially those which have been raised by the Honorable Dr. Nyikao, and the committee will consider those comments in future reports because they keep on coming as we investigate the funds of CDF. Mr. Speaker, from the comments raised by members, it is clear to all and sundry that NG-CDF is a grassroots fund that has impacted all the corners of villages in Kenya. And it is even more, has impacted more than even the county government. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is a fund that should be protected by all members and Kenyans at large. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to reply. Thank you.
Honorable members, for the convenience of the House, the question to this motion will be put when it will be next scheduled by the House Business Committee for consideration of the House. Next order.
Order number 11, motion, report on consideration of the audited accounts of specified state corporations.
The Chairperson, Public Investments Committee and Social Services Administration and Agriculture, to move. The mover in the House, certainly attending to those other state duties, I imagine related to the ongoing vetting process or preparations therefor. We will step it down for deliberations by the House to a future date. Next order.
Order number 12, motion, enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms.
The Chairperson, Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library, to move. Also out of the House on other state duties related to the matter I mentioned in regard to the previous order. This particular business will also be stepped down for deliberation and consideration by the House when it will be next scheduled by the House Business Committee. Next order.
Order number 13, the Coffee Bill, Senate Bill number 10 of 2023, second reading.
This one should be moved by the leader of the majority party as co-sponsor. And by the way, the leader of the majority party is a member of the Committee on Appointments. He's meeting as we speak to prepare for the important state matter of consideration, the vetting of the newly appointed CSS or cabinet secretaries. So step down this particular business to the next time. It will be scheduled for consideration in the House deliberations by the House Business Committee. Next order.
Order number 14, public petition on funds spent contrary to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution, resumption of debate.
Do you have the Chairperson, Public Petitions Committee? Oh, this is what happens to Parliament when the entire cabinet is being reconstituted. This particular order will be stepped down for reconsideration and deliberations by the House when the House Business Committee will next reschedule it for House deliberations. Next order.
Order number 15, motion, inspection visit to semi-autonomous institutions of the East African Community in Uganda.
Do we have the chairperson committee on regional integration in respect of order number 15? Also engaged in preparations towards the urgent matter of vetting of cabinet secretary nominees. And so this particular order will also be ordered, stepped down until it will be scheduled for House consideration by the House Business Committee. The Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, the Chairperson, Public Investment Committee on Social Services Administration and Agriculture, had the Speaker. You will not move. I would rather you listen to me. The Speaker has made a decision in respect of the matter appearing as order number 11, stepping it down. We understand the Speaker has indicated you engaged in the state duties outside of the House when it was called. The standing order provisions do not allow for a reversal. So I'm saying this because I know you're very ready to proceed, but we also are a house of rules. So it will be next scheduled by the House Business Committee. And as usual, I have no doubt in my mind that you'll duly discharge your duty as chair of that important committee on behalf of the House. As rise, members. Honorable members, the time being 6:02 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Thursday, the first day of August 2024 at 2:30 p.m.
Good afternoon to you. This is a live broadcast of the Senate proceeding coming to you from Parliament buildings this afternoon on the last day of July, the 31st day of the 7th day of the year being 2024. And we are so glad you're watching. My name is Gladys Mungai. And allow me to take you through the highlights in the order of business this afternoon, where the House will be voting on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill number 2 of the year 2023. This is Senate Bills number 52 by Senator Raphael Chimera. The report of the Standing Committee on Matters Finance and Budget on the Senate nominees on behalf of the county governments to the position of Member of Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, is another motion lined up for debate this afternoon. And this motion is by the chairperson, a Senate Standing Committee on Matters Finance and Budget. The recommended nominees are Lynette Washiali Muganda and Mr. Mohamed Aden Abdi. Who have been nominated to serve in the position of member of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Thereafter, the House will then get into the Committee of the Whole, where a number of bills will be considered. Among them is the Gambling Control Bill from the National Assembly, Bill number 70 of the year 2023. The Tea Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of the year 2023 by Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei. The Meteorological Bill, Senate Bills number 45 of the year 2023. And finally, the Committee of the Whole will this afternoon be considering the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, this being National Assembly Bills number 59 of the year 2022. Lined up for debate this afternoon is the Local Content Bill, this being Senate Bills number 50 of the year 2023 by the Chairperson Standing Committee on Matters Energy. And equally, the Wildlife Conservation Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 46 of the year 2023 by Senator Jones Maruma is equally another bill that is lined up for debate this afternoon. The business of the Senate is just about to commence. Remember, you can follow up on this live broadcast courtesy of our YouTube channels, that is Senate of Kenya, as well as on KBC Channel 1. Allow me to hand you over for this live broadcast brought to you by KBC in partnership with PBU. Enjoy your viewing and good afternoon.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, tukusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka, sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tukuomba utuajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
The quorum bell has started ringing at the Senate as per the directives by The Speaker, who has directed the Sergeant at Arms to ring the quorum bell to ensure that the House is properly quorated before the business kicks off this afternoon. We need at least 15 senators to be in the chamber, according to the stipulated quorum in the standing orders of the Senate. Standing order number 58. The Senator for Marsabit County, Senator Mohamed Shute, is set to make a statement pursuant to Standing Orders number 58 regarding the false reports of his arrest by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, under Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1. The Senator for Nyandarua County, Senator John Mithu, will be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters Roads, Transportation and Housing regarding the status of insurance cover for motor vehicles belonging to the county government of Nyandarua. The Senator for Kisii County, Senator Richard Onyonka, will this afternoon also be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the exploration of minerals in Kenya. And finally, under Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1, the Senator for Marsabit County will be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the operations of Northern Rangelands Trust in Marsabit County. The National Assembly Construction Authority Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 59 of the year 2022, is a bill lined up for consideration this afternoon. I gather that the quorum has been attained this afternoon, so let me hand you over for this live broadcast, and this is in the great partnership with the parliamentary.
Then we proceed with the communication. We have a good, we are very good. So do we proceed? Yes. Order, honorable senators, kindly take your seats. We do have quorum now, so we proceed with the afternoon's business. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Senator Robert, take your seat, please. Now, honorable senators have a communication to make concerning the motion by the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on the consideration of the Valuers, Forms and Fees Amendment Rules 2024, Legal Notice number 69 of 2024, the Survey Amendment Regulations 2024, Legal Notice number 71 of 2024, and the Land Adjudication Amendment Regulations 2024, Legal Notice number 76 of 2024. Honorable Senators, we recall that at a sitting of the Senate held on Thursday, the 2nd of May 2024, the following regulations were tabled by the Senate Majority Leader. 1, the Valuers, Forms and Fees Amendment Rules, Legal Notice number 69 of 2024. 2, the Survey Amendment Regulations, Legal Notice number 71 of 2024. And 3, the Land Adjudication Amendment Regulations, Legal Notice number 76 of 2024. In accordance with Section 12 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the regulations were referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation. Section 15.2 of the Statutory Instruments Act states as follows: where the committee does not make the report within 28 days, sitting days, of the date of referral of the statutory instruments by the committee or other period as the House may, by resolution approve, the statutory instrument shall be deemed to have fully met. The committee was required to review and scrutinize the regulations within a period of 28 sitting days. The time allowed for the committee to consider regulations was scheduled to lapse on Tuesday, the 30th of July, 2024, which was yesterday. Honorable Senators, you will recall that at a sitting of the Senate held yesterday, Tuesday, the 30th of June, 2024, pursuant to Section 15.3 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the chairperson of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation gave a notice of motion seeking an extension of time for consideration of the aforementioned regulations for a further period of 21 days in order to enable the committee to conclusively consider them. The substantive motion for debate and approval was scheduled in the order paper for Tuesday, 30th of July, 2024 at order number 28. The Speaker reorganized the sequence of business pursuant to Standing Order 45-2 after the divisions to give this motion priority. However, at the conclusion of the debate and in the absence of the requisite quorum for the question to be put, the mover requested for the question to be deferred to a later date pursuant to Standing Order 66-3. Now, Honorable Senators, Section 15.1 of the Statutory Instruments Act requires a committee to which a statutory instrument has been referred to table a report to Parliament containing only a resolution that the statutory instrument that stands permanently referred to the committee be revoked. As earlier highlighted, Section 15.2 states that in the event that the committee does not table a report within 21 days or such other period as the House may resolve, the statutory instrument shall be deemed to have been approved. The motion before the Senate was seeking an extension for consideration of the regulations, and the failure to approve the motion during the sitting of the Senate, held yesterday, Tuesday, 30th of July, 2024, takes us back to the provisions of Section 15.2 of the Statutory Instruments Act. Honorable Senators, this being the case, the Values, Forms and Fees Amendment Rules, Legal Notice number 69 of 2024, the Survey Amendment Regulations, Legal Notice number 71 of 2024, and the Land Adjudication Amendment Regulations, Legal Notice number 76 of 2024, are deemed to have met the requirements set out at Section 13 of the Act and are further deemed to have been approved by the Senate. Kindly be guided. Thank you. Honorable Senators, you may walk in and take your seats. Take your seats, Honorable Senators. I've got another communication to make. Honorable Senators, as you may recall, at the sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, 24th of July, 2024, the Senator for Kakamega County, Senator Dr. Boni Kalwale, MP, was called upon to move the motion for consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the Senate nominees on behalf of the county governments to the position of member of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC. Before the Senator could proceed to move the motion, he saw the intervention of the chair through a point of order on the grounds that new information that had been presented to the committee relating to one of the interviewed candidates for the position. The Senator stated that the new information was received after the committee concluded its report and tabled the same in the Senate. In the point of order, Senator Dr. Boni Kalwale MP informed the Senate that on the 24th of July 2024, the committee received correspondence from the University of Nairobi indicating that one of the candidates, Honorable Abdurrahman Ali Hassan, was conferred with a bachelor's degree in Arts, Gender and Development Studies on 19th December 2008, and that the candidate was a student at the said university between 2005 and 2008. The Senator further informed the Senate that the contents of the letter received on the 24th of July 2024 contradicted an earlier letter received on the 22nd July 2024 from the same university, which indicated that the certificate submitted for verification by Honorable Abrahaman Ali Hassan was not genuine and that it was not issued by the University of Nairobi. Senator Dr. Halale also informed the Senate that during the interview, Honorable Abrahaman Ali Hassan was ranked first, but that following receipt of a letter from the said university on the 22nd of July 2024, the committee had dropped him from the recommended list of candidates. From the foregoing, the Senate ordered the direction of the Speaker on how to proceed with the motion, stating that I would like you to guide us, because if then the certificate is genuine, it means we have no grounds to knock out that candidate from the list. Therefore, his name should be before the House. The senators who rose in support of the point of order by Senator Dr. Halwale MP, including Senator Donson Mungatana, MP, Senator Richard Onyonka, MP, Senator Enoch Wambua, MP, and Senator William Kisang, MP, expressed concern on the authenticity of the two letters from the same institution and urged the Senate to exercise caution. Now, honorable senators, given the circumstances, I directed Senator Dr. Boni Halale MP to table the letter received on the 24th of July 2024 from the University of Nairobi, and thereafter undertook to give a ruling on Tuesday the 30th of July 2024 after examining the matter. Consequently, the motion of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the Senate nominee to CRC was deferred pending the ruling, which I now proceed to make. Honorable Senators, as a way of background and to put the matter into context, at the sitting of the Senate held on Tuesday, the 11th of June 2024,